Howdy, Beefalo Bart here, and welcome. Alright, today's video we're going to cover death and respawn. One of many ways of handling the way that our character can actually die and then respawn. But before we get started, today's drink of choice, coffee. I love coffee. Alright, so, still on our same project. One thing we are going to need to do is I have created a new folder called Character and Animations, and in another video I'll show how to take apart the pieces from the free animation starter pack from the marketplace so that we can get our animations, export them so that we can import them a lot easier. And all I'm going to do is just import an animation directly in there by dragging it into the scene and then selecting my UE4 mannequin skeleton because I know that it's already configured for that skeleton. And then we're going to select import, and we're done. I'm actually going to rename it to just death instead of death_1. And as we can see, it works. It's our death animation. We don't need to make this a montage for right now. We don't need to do anything special. We'll cover different methods of the actual character folding over and being dead. Okay, so let's move on. Let's go to, first off, I want something to actually kill our character with. So I'm going to create something new, and we're going to go make a new folder. We're going to call this our gadgets, and we can just go ahead and make another new folder so we can stay organized. And this is blueprints. And, okay, the blueprints folder, we need to create our new killing machine. Normally I just do a pain pad where you step on it, it does damage. Kind of boring. So I just wanted to add something a little bit neater. Killing machine, whatever you want to call it. And I'm actually going to go back to my architecture from the starter content, grab a asset platform, add component, static mesh, and call it our platform. Alright, so let's go ahead and compile and save. And I want to go ahead and place this into my scene. And we're just going to place this over here because I want to make sure that it's not inside the ground or anything, so we can build it up as we go here. And if we want, we can go ahead and do, I don't know, we'll grab a pillar and we'll rescale it. So we're just going to click off so we don't have anything selected, and we'll add the pillar, and I'll just rename that to pillar. And I want to change the scale of it to half scale. And I just changed the scale to 0.5 on everything. And if we hit compile and save and take a look at it in our map, let's actually scale it down a little bit smaller, just for the heck of it. 0.25 by 0.25 by 0.25. And that, for sure, should be good enough. Okay, so what is it? How is this going to kill us? Well, first off, we're stepping in it and we're going through it because the base doesn't have any collision, and that's fine. I'm not really worried about that. But since I already have the pillar selected, I'm going to go back in here, click off of this, and add another component of the pillar. We're going to call this our blade. And I'm actually going to rotate it. .90 degrees. Let's go ahead and change it to 0.25. And actually, let's try it at 0.25 is good for here. And we'll just go ahead and do this as 0.25 as well. And I'm going to change the scale of one of these. I don't know which one I want, so we can always do this. And let's just change it to 0.1. Then I'm going to raise it up. And that's good enough for me. So the last thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to add in a box collision. And what this box collision is going to be is the thing that actually does the damage. So we'll scale this down. And move it so that it actually will cover the spot doing the damage close enough. And we'll just make it a little bit smaller this way. That's good enough. We need to make sure our blade does not have any collision whatsoever, because we want it to be able to go through our player. But we don't even need our base platform, so I'm just going to go ahead and delete that. The next thing and the last thing, the thing we need to add is a rotating movement. And if we take a look at it now, you see the center portion we can't walk into, but the blade portion itself will spin around and go through us, which is good. And now we can actually go to our box collision. After we delete everything in here, we will right click on component begin overlap, from other actor, third person character, which is our character that we're using. And then we are going to apply damage. We're going to drag from other actor across to here. And then we're going to go ahead and tell this to apply 25 damage. Sounds good enough, so it'll have to hit us a couple times. Actually, we'll make it do 50, so it only has to hit us twice before it kills us. So, compile, save, great. So now our player needs to be able to take damage. So we'll go to our third person blueprint. When taking damage, we need to do a couple things here. Start off with event any damage. Now we have created health already in our, and ignore that, our player stats. So we want to get a reference to our health, and we want to set our health. And essentially what we're doing is we're going to drag off from health and subtract. So we're going to subtract the amount of damage that we receive to the amount of health that we have. And then we're going to set our health to that new value. So if we receive 50 damage, it's going to take 50 damage away from our health, which is currently 100. So that's going to leave us with this output right here. And we can actually, just for the sake of argument, print text and connect these two together. And I'm just going to delete these here in just a moment. So it doesn't matter how neat and organized they are, but we wanted to print out what our current health is to ensure that we're actually taking damage. So we come over here, our blade hits us, we lose 50, and we lose that, but what's going to happen is we're now going to be in the negative numbers. So we need to be able to clamp down on that value, and the easiest way to clamp down on a value is to set it here. So what we're going to do is check float to see if our float is less than 0. Since we're asking a question, I'm going to branch, connect that in here. And if our health is less than 0, we need to set our health to 0. And then at this point, we need to make sure that we come up with a way of handling death. So I'm going to create a custom event. And we're going to call this death. And now we can call this anywhere that we want to, just by simply adding it on to wherever. So just that easy. Now we can add our death anywhere we want it to happen. So in our death sequence, what we're going to want to do here is we want to play our death animation. So if we get a reference to our mesh, drag that in here. We want to play animation of death. We don't want the loop, we just want it to play one time, and that's it. And then we'll come into how to respawn here in just a moment. So now we're over here, and oh no, we took 50 damage. Oh no, we took 50 damage. But we didn't die immediately because we have it set here to check if it's less than 0. Well, we're not. But what we can do is, to qualify that as well, is use less than or equal to here instead of just less than. So now, if we are less than or equal to 0, then we're going to set our health to 0, and then we're going to perform death. So that's going to let us go in, and if we are at 0 health, we're just going to be dead. And boom, we're dead. You see it's going to keep doing it because it keeps getting hit for some reason, because our capsule collision is still in the way. So with that, we can do a couple different things. In this case, we go back to our gadget blueprint, killing machine, and we will, just for now, we're going to get a reference to our health. And again, we can do the same thing. Check to see if it is less than or equal to 0. And if it is, then for the sake of this item right here, this is not something that I would do normally, but we'll get a reference to our box collision and set collision enabled, and it's going to default to no collision. And this is just going to disable it. We could also tell it just to destroy actor and just get rid of it completely, but we just wanted to stop retriggering. So okay, we're there, and it's no longer going to hit us anymore. So we're just dead. So the next thing we can do here is we want to expand on this, and we will in just a moment. On event begin play, we need to go ahead and create a new variable, and this is going to be our checkpoint. And now this is going to come in handy later on for a lot of different things, but we're going to make this a vector. And on event begin play, we need to come back in here and set this variable. But how do we get that variable? Well, on event begin play, to set that, we need to, we could get world location, but nah, let's get actor location, and we'll just plug this in here. So on event begin play, we are going to get our actor location, and that's going to set our new checkpoint. So that if we die, we can now respawn at our last checkpoint. So here, we've just died, and that's cool. Well, not really cool that we died, but let's add a little bit more flair to it. And I'm going to go to my viewport and select camera. I'm going to add a new camera. So add new component of camera, or learn how to spell. So we're going to call this death camera. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to change my location, rotation, and everything else. So we're going to change this to 180 so we can spin it around. And we're going to change this to -90. Nope. -90 in the X. No. Well, let's just do this correct way. I meant that for the rotation. We're going to rotate it. No, you dum-dum. Death camera. Rotate it 90 degrees. We are going to reposition it so that it is 150 or -150 in its position and 300 on elevation. And even though I did not move that, it decided it was going to do that anyway. And I'm just cleaning up numbers here because why would it do that? So it's going to look straight down, and it did it again, negative 180, 0. So what's going to happen is also we need to uncheck auto activate. We want this to come on after we die. So we're going to play our death animation. We're going to put in a minor delay of roughly a half second, which is going to be 0.5. And then we're going to get a reference to our cameras. We're going to get our follow camera, and we're going to deactivate which is going to turn that camera off. Get a reference to our death camera, and we are going to activate. So we're turning off one and turning on the other, and we're going to do just the opposite of that here in just a few moments, but let's continue on with that. So if we want to test this really quickly, we can go back into our world and we took damage, we're dead, and now we're looking down at our character, and we can't look around, but our character can still move. So the next thing we need to do is stop our character movement. So we're going to get a reference to our character movement, and we want to set movement mode. So it defaults to none, so it stops us from being able to move. We want to go ahead and put in a respawn delay. So we'll make it 3 seconds, but we can change this to whatever we want. So 3 seconds after we die, and actually I'm going to make it 5. Just because. So 5 seconds after we do all that, then we need to go ahead and move. So we're going to set actor location. So this is going to be our teleport. We're going to move our character back to our original checkpoint, and all we do is drag that over, plug it in, and make it pretty. This is going to be a teleport. Then we need to grab a reference to our mesh. We need to set anim instance class. Plug that in. And this is going to be our third person animation blueprint, so it sets us back into our third person animation sequence. And then let's go ahead and get a reference to our... Actually, before we do the character movement, let's go ahead and we're going to redo our cameras here. So I'm going to copy that, paste it, and plug in the deactivate and activate nodes for our cameras. And all we got to do here is we're going to deactivate our death camera, and we're going to activate our follow camera. Nice and neat. And then our character movement, so that we can start walking again. And we need to set movement mode. And once we plug this in, we can change the movement mode to walking. So we can resume walking again. And let's give this a try, and then we'll review what we've got so far. So 5 seconds later, we teleport, and look, our health is at 0, so we need to fix that as well. So we'll grab a reference to our health. Actually, nope, we need to set our health back to 100. So we're full health again. And our final review. Our character is nice and healthy. We walk over here and, oh no, we're dead. We can look at our body, and 5 seconds afterwards, we teleport. We're full health again, and we can walk. No problem. Yay. And there was much rejoicing. Since we already killed the movement of this, or prevented it from doing any harm anymore, we could always just go back into our killing machine and, for the heck of it, add a delay. Make it 7 seconds. That should be ample time. Plug this back in. and tell it to have collision again. So if we want to keep testing and keep killing ourselves, we can do it. So now, there we go. We're doing damage. We die. We change our camera. We teleport after 5 seconds. And we're back to full health. Regular camera again. And our killing machine works again. Alright, that'll do it for this video. I want to thank everybody for watching. And if you have suggestions for future videos, let me know. But I'm trying to keep these neat, clean, quick, and organized, and to the point. Thanks for watching, and we will see you soon.